Hey everybody, and welcome to my N5 series on the SP404 Mark II, where I cover a topic in about 5 minutes. This is session 38.7, and I don't know, I just laid down a little bit more drums and changed up some of the sounds a little bit so that I could play them from the Force, and I don't know, it sounds like it's in sync to me, more or less. I don't know, maybe the pattern 3 versus pattern 2. Pattern 3 with like the insane time stretching versus pattern 2 or something, but if I hit play, I mean, it sounds fine to me. And it sounds like it's staying in sync. Now, we should be able to switch over. That's switching over to the 200 BPM pads that are now being super time stretched to work. And I think this is the 96 BPM. And the 96 BPM sounds fine to me. I mean, is there a little bit of artifacts or something in there? Maybe, but I don't know. I mean, it seems like it's fine to me. I was probably overthinking it too much or trying to talk too much and listen. I would say I'm happy with it. Anyway, a few thoughts for those of you that are thinking of messing around with this. Obviously, if you're going to work with external sequencers, you got to make sure you've got all your settings set up correctly so that your external sequencer is sending MIDI data over to the SP404 Mark II. That's important. You're going to want to go into your utility system. You're going to want to get over to your MIDI settings, and you want to make sure you do have MIDI sync auto or set to MIDI or USB. I usually leave it as auto just so that the sync comes in. Personally, I often have unless the 404 Mark II is driving something, I would have sync out and note out and other stuff just so that you're not creating any problems for yourself in the future by accidentally sending MIDI notes from the SP404 Mark II to another device. Besides that, I would say, for all of your notes, if you're going to be doing BPM sync and you're going to be changing the BPM a lot, you're probably going to want everything to have BPM sync on. And unless you're okay with the time stretching, which maybe you want that sound, but if you don't want time stretching, I would really suggest going into pitch and speed, hold shift down, and set your time stretch to be at least no for vinyl, and then pick one of these vary settings. That way you'll get a higher quality stretch with pitch shifting or pitch correction to it. Maybe not correction, it's not the right word. Anyway, you'll have pitch, it'll maintain the same pitch independently from however much you're time stretching. Otherwise, you're going to get that potentially like chipmunk voice or other things that maybe you're not quite looking for, or maybe you are as an effect. Beyond that, what else can I tell you? If you can, it really helps to know what the BPM is, and I would go set the BPM properly manually on all of the pads that you do want to have BPM sync on. Now, you're not always going to be able to do that easily. Sometimes you're going to use tap tempo or something to figure out what the BPM is. Or I found it okay doing the BPM set auto. And as long as you know like the rough range, you could usually get that in as well and have it set that properly. But yeah, definitely, if you're trying to take content from an external device, just write down whatever the BPM is so that you can get it working correctly. Beyond that, I would say, personally, I think it works pretty well. Sounds pretty good. Not going to compete with like Ableton Live, time stretching, or other software stuff. But for something that you can throw in your backpack and make beats on, this is powered off of like AA batteries or whatever you got around. You can do an awful lot with this. So I would say try out the BPM sync. Personally, I think it works well. It's going to work better if you're going to be using patterns, but you can even run these things in loop mode and just let them loop forever. Personally, I'm not sure I would hold my breath that they're going to stay in sync forever. You may end up having some like phasing issues as some of them start like drifting in and out of sync with each other. But if you have like that pattern where it's going to keep triggering on a one beat consistently, whether it's a 1 bar, 2 bar, 4 bar, whatever, I think you'll be in good shape. And then you can actually play creatively around that. And don't forget, you can use the shift reverse to pad mute to bring elements that are in sync in and out. So I think you can do a lot of really cool things with just the SP404 Mark II with BPM sync, triggering things and keeping them going. Anyway, guys, I hope anybody that's been messing around with BPM Sync and having problems, I hope this was helpful. If not, post in the comments where you've been seeing some problems. I'll see if I can try and help you out or figure it out in some future posts. But this does seem to work the way it is advertised, more or less, barring a few caveats where when you do excessive or extreme time stretching, it is kind of resetting and then doing some weird stuff. But I mean, beyond that, if you're trying to go up or down like 10, 20, 30, even like up to like 50% speed up or down, it seems to work fine. So yeah, get out there, use it, have fun. Obviously, you can do some creative stuff with the artifacts and all that. Go extreme, see what you get out of it. Keep making music, have fun, happy holidays, and peace.